Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Eldiana Wijayanti. In here, I want to explain about PIGATE and VYGOTSKY's constructivism. According to PIGATE, there are two major principles guide intellectual growth and biological development. The first one is adaptation. Assimilation and accommodation are both parts of adaptation. PIGATE believed that assimilate external events and convert them to fit their mental structure. Second, organization. Schema, a mental representation of some physical or mental action that can be performed on an object, event, or phenomena. So here are four concepts of PIGATE's constructivism. Assimilation. Angie sees her own snapshot in a photo album for the first time. Her father asks her, "Who is that, Angie?" She points to the little girl into the picture and replies, "It is a baby, Daddy." She cannot identify herself. The father points out that the picture is of her. He tells her, "Yes, Angie, that is a baby, and that baby is you." He then explains how pictures are taken to capture moment. In here, Angie finds a way to fit the external reality or about what her dad says with her cognitive structures and schema, her own experience. Assimilation occurs when the child finds a new object or even in terms of existing schemas or operations. PIGATE emphasized the functional quality of assimilation, where children and adults tend to apply any mental structure that is available to assimilate a new event, and actively seek to use the newly acquired mental structure. Accommodations. Based on the example before, Angie understands that she cannot simultaneously exist in two places. If her father points out to her that she is the child in the picture, Angie would naturally have to alter her internal mental structure to adjust the newly discovered external reality. So after her dad tells her about the picture, Angie automatically thinks based on her experience, naturally have to alter her internal mental structures to discover a new experience or reality. This might mean that Angie will have to believe that photographs represent moments from the past. Therefore, Angie can see herself in the picture and still exist in the present time. In this way, Angie can accommodate her internal mental structures to external reality. Accommodation refers to the process of changing internal mental structure to provide consistency with external reality. It occurs when the existing schema created new experience. Third, equilibration. Angie would first try to assimilate the information received from the external world into her existing internal cognitive structure. So when her dad tells her about the picture, she can interpret like her father is only teasing her and it is not Angie in the picture, or that is Angie but the photo was taken in different time as her father explained. So this is when the equilibrations happen. The internals attempt to make a sense of external event according to one's internal event by achieving balance between assimilation and accommodation enables. Based on her that explanation and Angie interpretation have to meet a balance assimilation and accommodation, that is equilibrations happen. So the equilibration occurs as an effort to bring balance between assimilation and accommodation as the person adopts more sophisticated internal mental structures. The last one is schemata. PIGATE defined a schema as the mental representation of an associated set of perceptions, ideas, and/or actions. Schemata will develop while the cognitive development proceeds. Example: when we see a dog, our schemata will be more specific. The schemata will categorizing the dog, such as that is a bulldog or that is a poodle dog. So next PIGATE stage of cognitive development. So based on PIGATE, there are 4 stages of cognitive development. The first one is sensory motor. begins at birth and lasts until 18 months, 2 years of age. This stage involves the use of motor activity without the use of symbols. It's based on physical interaction and experience such as explorations, shaking, putting, touching, put a thing in their mouth. Early language development occurs in this stage. Permanence occurs at 7 until 9 months. Second is pre-operational. Occurs during the period between toddlerhood, 18 until 24 months, and early childhood, 7 years. Children begin to use language, memory, and imagination also develop. Children engage in make-believe and can understand and express relationship between the past and the future. Then concrete operational typically develops between the age of 7 until 11 years. Intellectual development in this stage is demonstrated through the use of logical and systematic manipulation of symbols, which are related to concrete objects. Thinking becomes less egocentric with increased awareness of external events and involves concrete references. Formal operational. It's in adulthood. Adolescents can think about multiple variables in systematic ways, can formulate hypotheses, and think about abstract relationships and concepts. Intellectual development in adults involves developing more complex schema through the addition of knowledge. Educational implications. PIGATE's theory is adaptation of instruction to the learner's development level. The content of instructions need to be consistent with the developmental level of the learners. The teacher's role to facilitate learning by providing a variety of experiences, discovery learning. Implication for instructions is use of concrete hands-on experiences to help children learn. Additional suggestions include provide concrete props and visual aids, use familiar examples, allow opportunities to classify and group information with increasing complexity, then the last present problems that acquire logical analytic thinking. For both adolescents and adult learners, it is important to use these instructional strategies. Use visual aids and models, provide opportunities to discuss social, political, and cultural issues. The last one is teach both concepts rather than facts, and to situate this in a context meaningful and relevant to the learner. VYGOTSKY's constructivism. Unlike Piaget's notions that children's development must necessarily precede their learning, VYGOTSKY argued learning is a necessary and universal aspect of the process of developing culturally organized, specifically human psychological function. So it means that the social learning tends to precede development. Two main principles. More knowledge other, MKO. Self-explanatory. It refers to someone who has a better understanding or a higher ability level than the learner with respect to a particular task, process, or concept. Example, when we ask who is more likely to know more about the newest teenage music groups, the latest skateboarding skills, who to win the most recent Nintendo game, or how to correctly perform the newest dance, quiz a child or his parents. So the answer is the child. So it's mean in MKO the teacher is not only a teacher or an adult, but someone who know or expert of the knowledge. MKO also not only a person, it can be electronic performance support system. Zone of proximal development. VYGOTSKY defines the CPD as the distance between the actual developmental level as determined by independent problem solving and the level of potential development as determined through problem solving under adult guidance or in collaboration with more capable peers. So when we try to solve the problem, we need someone to assist us to get the task done. So a key concept here is that the learner does the whole task with a support as opposite to breaking the tasks down into component skills to be learned in isolation. So we need a support to solve our problem or tasks. And this is the example of CPD. There's a girl named Maria who just entered college this semester and joined the tennis course. After a week, the instructor noticed that Maria is very frustrated because she keeps hitting her forehand shots either into the net or far past the baseline. Then the instructors is observe her and then notice that she is still gripping her racket in the same way she hits her backhand. So he goes over to her and shows her how to reposition parallel the racket. From the example above, Maria was in the zone of proximal development for successfully hitting a forehand shot. She was doing everything else correctly, but just needed a little coaching and scaffolding for a more knowledgeable other to help her succeed in this task. When that assistance was given, she became able to achieve her goal, provided with appropriate support at the right moment. So too will students in our classroom be able to achieve the tasks that would otherwise be too difficult for them. So we have to assist them to achieve the goal. Thank you. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.